Life is tough. You've gone through a lot of tough times. It has been hard. You faced a lot of unfairness. Your childhood was not happy. Your parents didn't have money. Friends bullied you. Office politics troubles you. Well, I have news for you. Welcome to the real world. That's what happens with many of us. I'm sure none of us are unscathed by many of these things. We all go through it. Trust me, you have not had it that bad. Trust me, there are worse things that could have happened to you. Trust me, there are worse things that have happened to people. Trust me, many in our group might have gone through a lot more than you have. Well, let me discuss about this. I started reading Can't Hurt Me Today by David Goggins about on 18th or 17th, 18th of July, 19th of July maybe. I know many authors, I've read a few books. So David Goggins was really something which whom I didn't know about, and the lecture that we attended and the book suggested by Gurudev, that's how this was one of the books, and that's how I was introduced to David Goggins. So I said, okay, let me read. Then I took the book and I started reading, and I remember it was on 19th, and I read, and I just couldn't keep the book down, and till about 1:10, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the night I was reading that book. I was so charged up by that book. The amount of misfortune that David has gone through during his childhood years, during his teens, even after that, during pursuing his dream, is just unbelievable. Add to that, he was a black guy in a racial world around him during those years. Just imagine the kind of abuse he must have gone through. Single mom taking care of him, financially troubled, bullied, not great in academics, black. It was like a no-brainer that he would surely turn to a life of misfortune. Surely he would not amount to much. Everybody wrote him off. Everyone. Of course, when you go through those kind of insecurities, when you go through that kind of rough childhood or teens or rough situations in life, you tend to fall into bad habits, right? So I think David fell into the habit of eating a lot. He put on really a huge amount of weight, and that proved to be a major obstacle in him becoming a Navy SEAL, which was his dream. But then nobody was ready to. He went for various interviews for his Navy SEAL military career, and every one of them rejected him. Only one fellow instructor told ki, okay, fine, you reduce so and so amount of weight, which was like an impossible task. The specifics you can read in the book. But he took that up as a challenge, reduced that weight, made the cut, and he got into the program to become a Navy SEAL. Even after he got into it, he had to really rough it out. Navy SEALs, I came to know after reading the book, is one of the toughest programs, that physically toughest programs that somebody can go through. It tests you physically and it tests you mentally equally hard. So I was so inspired by the teachings. I was so inspired by his story and what he was saying. So there are 3-4 things which come across very strongly for me from his book, and there are 2-3-4 points that he says key. First and foremost, just go and make a list of all the pain, all the misfortune that you have gone through in life. Think about whatever, write it down. After that, he says, second point is, try to see the good part in how much ever bad it was. I know it can be tough. I mean, what can be good in a childhood where maybe you don't have money, when you're amongst friends who have bullied you, when maybe you want to study more but your parents can't afford the fees. I've gone through most of these things myself. So this is the second thing, that make a list. Third is, you need to armor your mind. That there is this thing which he teaches specifically, that about an armored mind. What is an armored mind? An armored mind is a mind which is not deterred by any external stimuli. An armored mind is the mind which is single-pointedly only focused on its own internal communication and the goal. It is not swayed by external opinions, external communications, by the feedback that he's getting from the outside world. No. But it is not affected by humiliation. It is not affected by the words of others. It is not affected by the misfortunes that befall during the journey. Nothing. The armored mind is a mind which is armored against all these things, and only thinking about the goal, about what it wants to achieve. So that was one of the points which he taught, which has stayed with me, the armored mind. You can also look at it as, when you get hurt, suppose you fall, you get a scratch. After a few days, there is a thick black, blue, whatever, black, brownish layer which comes up on the scratch. And that's a little bit more rough, more tougher than your normal skin. I'm sure we all must have sometimes experienced this. So that is what he means. That tougher outer skin is the armor. So you armor your mind and forget about all the scratches, all the pain that you've gone through, and armor your mind against them. That is much tougher. Your mind becomes much tougher. You become much tougher. The second thing, the fourth thing that he teaches is, try to make a list of all the small wins, medium wins, big wins, how much ever small a win is, how much ever big a win is, make a list of all of those. Imagine you have a jar in which every small win that you have gained, you take a cookie and put it into that jar. You woke up on time, put one cookie. You spoke well, put one cookie. You helped someone, put one cookie in the jar. You achieved with flying colors, put one cookie in the jar. You tried lots but failed, but still you tried lots, put a cookie in the jar. So the concept of the cookie jar is what I learned from him, is that this cookie jar, imagine a cookie jar in which for every good or positive win that you get, you imaginarily put a cookie jar in it, put a cookie in that jar, and keep on filling that jar up with all the cookies of all the small wins that you have had. How this helps? So whenever you are faced with a tough time in your life, in a tough situation, you can always go back to the cookie jar and imagine and see all the cookies in that jar and know that, oh my God, I have won so many times. I have had so many wins. There are so many cookies in this jar. That immediately changes your state to handle the present challenge. That immediately puts you in a resourceful state. That immediately helps you become more stronger, more hopeful, more faithful. That, okay, I can handle this as well. So that's another thing which has stayed with me, which is the cookie jar concept. So that's the fifth point. Then on the sixth thing that I learned was taking souls. He calls it as taking souls. Believe me, he's a extremely tough guy. He's the baddest guy. He's the toughest guy I've ever seen by what I have read. And then I have, of course, gone and done my research on him, and the feats that he's achieved are phenomenal. He's done more than 60 marathons, ultra marathons, triathlons, bad weather, ultra triathlons, you name it, 60 plus. I consider myself tough. When I read what he's achieved, I'm not even 0.1% tough. He suddenly expanded the definition of toughness for me. So what is taking souls about? He says ki don't go and compete with someone. There is no point in competing with anyone in your professional life, personal life, wherever. Don't compete. He says go and dominate. Now that's, just imagine the shift. Ki if you're in some situation, you're trying to achieve something and you think, okay, I'll compete, I'll be better than them and I'll compete and I'll win. No, he says no, don't compete. Dominate. Now there is a difference. When you are trying to compete, you're trying to maybe be a little bit better than your competition, and then you feel okay, I'm happy and satisfied. But then what happens? Along comes somebody else who's better, and again you feel ki oh, again I have to get more better now. So he says don't compete. Find your USP, find a out of the box solution for it. Find something which nobody is thinking about. Do something that is completely absurd in a good way, and dominate that task, dominate that competition. Don't compete, dominate. So when you dominate, and if you see the competition, and when they see you that you have dominated, they just lose all the, it's as if their body goes limp. And that's what he calls by taking souls. He says you take their soul, don't just compete, take their soul. He's an extremely aggressive guy. I like that about him. It resonates with me absolutely. So that's another thing which I learned, taking souls. He says don't dominate, don't compete, dominate. Guys, let me tell you, the reading, it's about 300 page. It gave me goosebumps. I couldn't keep the book. There have been certain books in my life wherein I have gone through this phase where I just could not keep the book down. Day, night, in 2-3 days I have finished the books because they resonated with me so much. They taught me so much. I just couldn't keep it down. David Goggins, in last maybe 2-3 years, this was the book which again made me experience that. I just could not keep it down. His achievements are phenomenal. Now, how does this help? These are all physical achievements of his. But the point is, these physical achievements, when you push yourself physically, it definitely spills over into all your activities. When you push yourself physically, you also get tougher mentally. Just think about it. If you push yourself out of your comfort zone and achieve something physically more, it toughens your mind. If your mind is toughened, then it helps in each and every situation, right? That's what is the takeaway. He teaches a 40% rule, which says that when you feel you have given your best, that is the time. Don't become happy. Think that this is only 40%. When you have given 100% and you feel you have given your best and I have done my best, know this, that somebody else or for somebody else it is just 40%. Even for you it is 40%. You have that latent potential. You can still go farther ahead. Don't get happy. Don't be satisfied. Think I can do better and push yourself. Make it 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Your best is not best enough. Your best is only 40%. You can go further. I'll explain it with my own example. So what I was so charged up that at about 1 o'clock at night, 1 a.m. I mean, I removed my journal, I removed my diary. That's my best friend. And I said, okay, I absolutely agree with whatever he has said, and I'm going to implement this. Now I like to work out. I go to the gym, I run. So I was running for 22 minutes, 20 minutes most of the times average for about last 4-5 months. Before that I never used to run. I used to work out more. That also since last 5-7 years I work out maybe only 3 times a week, thinking that okay, this is enough for me since I'm now 47. I need to push weights to keep my muscles intact, but I'm not in the competition for making or increasing my muscles. I'm more in it for increasing my stamina, for increasing my endurance, for keeping in proper shape. That's about it. But then that night I made a commitment and I wrote from today I am going to stretch myself for running. So I've written that. I think I've shared it in one of the groups. I'll share it in this also as a image. So I wrote down the dates. I think from 19th of July all the way till August, whatever dates I've written, and I've said ki 22 minutes, 22. So I said ki okay, 20 ka I'll make 22 first week, then I'll make it 23.5, about 10% or 20% increments every week on week. And I said I'm going to push myself. I'm happy to say that yesterday I achieved 25 minutes of running at an average speed of about 9 kilometers per hour with ease. I've been doing 25 minutes for the last 4 or 5 days, but yesterday was really, it was a pain before. Yesterday was easy. I could do it easily. I ran very confidently. I ran throughout, the entire run was quite enjoyable, and it was 25 minutes. So from 19th of July till I think maybe in a month's time, I've gone from 20 minutes to 25 minutes, which is about 20% more time. And I never thought I would do it. I never wanted to do it. Maybe I don't know, I never wanted to run more. But then David said, 40% rule. You think you're doing good? No, you're not doing good. You can go further. You can do better. So I just wanted to follow that. I did it. I have done 25 minutes. It's not much. I'm sure most of you must be running for more. I don't know. But for me, 25 minutes is a great achievement for me in terms of running. My ultimate goal is to run non-stop at the average speed of about 9 for 45 minutes to 60 minutes. I'm charting that course. I'm sure I'll do that in the next few months. But that's the power of the 40% rule that David taught. I'm so glad that I came across this book, and it has helped me tremendously. And I see that it also helps me mentally. Whenever I'm faced with certain things where I feel I've given my best, I tell myself, no, I can go little further. 40% rule. If you have ran for 20 minutes, now you're doing 25 minutes. Even here you can do a little bit better. Please do better. Please do better. Please do better. And I've started following that. I strongly suggest everybody, please read Can't Hurt Me Today by David Goggins. I'm sure it will add a different dimension to what's possible. To give you an example, he's the guy who's ran for about 48 hours straight, 200 miles. Who runs 200 miles, my friends? I know it's superhuman for me. He's done 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours non-stop. He's a Guinness World Record holder for that. 4,030 pull-ups. I was shell-shocked. What the hell? Who does that? It's crazy. So not that we all have to do that, but we all definitely can push ourselves a little bit further, little bit more than what we have been doing. The entire game of life is just this. Do a little bit better than what you have been doing. If you become 1% better every day, then after a year, you will be 37 times better than what you are today. There's a formula to it. That's how 1-2 books have explained it. If you become just 1% better every day, At the end of the year, if you consistently do it, you will be 37 times better than what you are today. Small incremental steps lead to huge transformations. So, I just wanted to share this with you. Do read David Goggins, do follow him, do check out what he's achieved, and I'm sure you'll be inspired to be more, to do more. Whenever you feel you have given best, I'm sure you will remember the 40% rule, that no, I'm just at 40%. I can go more further. Improve 1% every day. That's all that I would want to share and leave you with. Think about it. Thank you.